Good morning, everybody. I'm Kathy Hazel Adams, and thank you for joining me today. I just wanted to check in with you all, actually, to see how it's going with you regarding the energies that we've been receiving and that are actually rolling out, to see what the effects are that you're noticing in your own personal lives around this full moon and then total lunar eclipse in Virgo, and also the energies that we've been taking in from the solar flares and the planetary alignments, which have been very much around truth, transparency, justice. So I wanted to share a few ideas and thoughts about what you might find yourself experiencing and feeling, so that you know what's going on when and if it happens that way. So before I go on, I will remind you to please, if you find this video helpful, please remember to click like, subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss any videos, and leave your comments and questions. I love reading them. Many of you have been leaving comments and questions, and it's not only heartwarming to me to read them. I read every single one, but it's helpful to others to read about your experiences and learn from your questions and the answers as well. So the energies that are playing out are rolling out in our experience one way or another right now. So I haven't looked at any news today, so I don't know any of the new developments. I do know that in terms of justice and transparency, federal courts are demanding information be shared about how and why decisions are reached to fire tens of thousands of employees. A judge has issued an order now that employees that were fired evidently from the VA have to be rehired. So there's that whole, the courts are involved, justice and transparency. Information is being demanded by the courts that it be brought out into broad daylight. So we're seeing it out there. And again, in our own lives, anything could be happening. Abrupt changes in work situation, relationship situation, home situation, financial situation. Anything that isn't authentic to our soul's essence is being spotlighted, identified, and acknowledged, and released. So day to day in our personal lives right now, some of the things that you might be experiencing. The energy of Virgo is very clarifying. It's very practical. It has to do with the physical manifestation. So again, it's going to clarify anything that doesn't belong there. If you've been without direction and feeling confused and overwhelmed, it can manifest as a sudden clarity and direction and motivation to carry out what you now know you need to carry out. If you've been confused about what you need to be doing in service as to who you are within the collective and within the reality we're creating together, all of a sudden clarity around that and a way forward, new gifts, new intuitive and clairvoyant abilities are really coming up. You may suddenly find yourself with healing abilities that you didn't quite know you had, or if you did know you have them and you were already to one degree or another using those gifts, a lifting, an acceleration, and expansion of those gifts, so that now you're working with energies and consciousness and healing at a whole new level. Because Virgo is a sign that's very earthy, it is an earth sign, and it's very involved with the material, the physical manifestation. Because the full moon in Virgo is exactly opposite the sun in Pisces, which is very fluid and ephemeral and without clear boundaries. It can be in its shadow state very murky if you don't have direction and structure. Those two things together allow the spiritual and the intuitive and the clairvoyant and the vibrational energy to be directly experienced and manifested in the physical. And it allows the physical, everything that you do in the physical, to now be informed and expanded by the intuitive and the clairvoyant and the spiritual, the energetic. You may find yourself more aware of other dimensional consciousnesses, non-physical beings, be they ETs or paraphysical, other dimensional consciousnesses. And even if you can't quite see them yet with your inner physical eyes, you may feel the presence and that it's just right there and you're about to see it, and you probably are. On that note, by the way, you don't ever have to be afraid of bringing in or being subject or vulnerable to evil consciousnesses. Always set your intention to only interact with that which is of the light. If anything were to come up in your perception that feels scary to you, it's that there's a part of you that feels vulnerable to something evil or bad doing something to you. You are not vulnerable. You are not susceptible to anything happening to you that you don't agree to on some level. So you are not vulnerable. You don't have to be scared of demons and bad things happening. Just know that as you rise into light and love, you are only in vibration with what is benevolent and of the light and love. If you ever have an experience where something is scary to you, simply tell it to go away. You're in charge of what you accept into your reality. If you have a question that you are in contact with a consciousness, you're not sure what it's all about, ask it if it is of the light. Blossom Goodchild shared this. Ask it 3 times. Are you of the light? Okay, say it says yes. Are you of the light? Okay, it says yes. Are you of the light? It is evidently, I haven't experienced this directly, but it makes sense. Evidently, by universal law, it cannot answer 3 times that it is of the light if it is not of the light. The number 3 is some kind of an energetic symbol of truth. A lie cannot be told when you ask it like that in the 3s. So once again, you may find yourself suddenly aware of information, vibrational information that you just hadn't seen before. I just had that experience, and I knew it was that energy of the Virgo full moon and lunar eclipse playing out, bringing consciousness, intuitive, spiritual experience directly into the physical. I am suddenly having the wonderful experience myself of perceiving more than the physical translation, that's what I'm going to call it, of energetic ideas. I'm directly now perceiving and directly interacting with the energetic ideas themselves on that vibrational level. It's a whole new level of perception for me. It's one that I had wanted, one that I had asked for, to be more aware of the energetic information going on than, again, that sort of translation into the physical where we can see it. It's like this third party middleman in between the real information. You start being able to actually directly not only see, but interact in and with the ideas directly, the vibrations directly. Seth said something about that. My teacher, Seth, had said something about that in one of his books, that consciousness is coming from other systems into our system. They're not going to be able to see us physically. You know, they don't have the chip, so to speak. They don't have the mechanisms, the senses to see what we see physically, but they see the ideas behind everything we've got going on physically. The Arcturians said something similar. They said, we don't see you physically. We see your vibration. Now I'm starting to experience directly exactly what they're talking about, and it is amazing. I also just had the blessing of directly seeing that full moon and total eclipse in Virgo this morning in my morning meditation. I had done an offering session for a client who had contacted me. She had a terrible loss in her life, and she finds herself in a really, really difficult situation and overwhelmed by the circumstances and what to even do, or just what even to do, just that state. And we've all been in it. Maybe you've been in it. I know I have, on and off, to where it's like, I'm overwhelmed. I don't even know what to do. I know it's there, but I can't even deal with it. It's just, you can't even deal with it. It's a very disempowered state. We've all been there. I saw very directly that the full moon and total eclipse in Virgo energy was right there to help her. And I actually saw a compass being placed in the middle of her energetic field. And this information that came through, and it's like, okay, I know where I'm going. We've got a plan. I have the ability to carry out that plan and the motivation to do so. Here we go. That is that Virgo energy that the full moon and total eclipse just magnified in our lives. So again, you may be, regardless of any kind of confusion or being overwhelmed, the muck that's been going on, the spinning in circles, the feeling immobilized. Oh, that Virgo energy will help you shoot right out of there with purpose and real knowing, not from shoulds, but from real knowing. This is what I need to do. This is what I'm going to do. It's a very clear, empowering energy. As you go through these changes now, what we're really talking about is lifting up and expanding from one level or a vibrational version of human consciousness through other layers into a higher expanded vibrational version of what human consciousness can be. So you might experience some glitches along the way. This was just given to me this morning as I was sort of jotting a couple notes to make sure I didn't forget to say something. There might be glitches where we've all been feeling like time is weird, time is accelerated, there is no time. I could have written down the other day that it's 2035 and it was perfectly just as true as 2025. I don't know how to explain it. There is no time. Another thing you might experience would be this feeling of, well, what is reality? Like reality is shifting and it's amorphous and the target is moving. In fact, there is no longer a target. Like, what's going on? I don't know what's real and what isn't. That's because we are literally shifting from one clear, structured version of reality, the way we held it, into another. It is blurry and messy, so to speak, as we shift into a new vibrational version of reality for ourselves. Almost like if you were tuning a radio from one lower frequency to a higher frequency, as you tune up through it, there might be static and some weird things on the way. Maybe it's along those lines. So through all this, just remember that you are fine. Remember to ground yourself. We are electromagnetic beings. And again, I'm starting to see this more and more clearly, not just here, but here, heart, mind. Drink your water. Eat nutritional foods. We are electromagnetic beings. Because of this electromagnetic reality of our body and what we sense in our environment in the world, there's actually a thing about drinking water, not just to infuse energies that we need, but almost the way you have to fill a battery with water and salt for the conductivity. It's really important. I'm getting that it's really important for us to drink plenty of water and eat foods that are nourishing to the body, and try to get out of your head with the shoulds. Start seeing if you can feel it vibrationally. Like, I feel the vibration of this aligning in a positive manner with the vibration of my physical body. Just start opening up to that. So if you're watching this video before March 23rd, 2025, I will invite you to join me this Sunday, March 23rd, for a live Spirit Talk via Zoom, in which we'll be talking a lot more about this dimensional versions of human consciousness and the dimensional version that we've been in, and then the higher expanded vibrational version that we are really meant to be in, and how to see and feel and identify the two. Once you've seen it and felt it, you can't ever unsee and feel. Now you know. So I hope you'll consider joining me for that. If you'd like to register for it, I'll leave a link to the registration page below. You can also certainly go to my website, www.kathyhazeladams.com, click on the classes webinars tab, and you'll find the registration link there. Or you can certainly go to my Patreon page. Anyway, thank you for staying with me today. As always, I've loved spending this time with you. I'll see you next time. Blessings.